Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It is Binky here today with another Born to Stand Out. Yes, and a K-drama at the end. Let's do this. Whew, just came back in. It is like 5 degrees outside and there's wind. By the time this gets up it'll probably be spring. Just kidding. But you know, I am kind of ahead. So there you go. Moment in time. So we picked one and it is Nanatopia. Now, I don't even know if this one's available anymore, but I have a feeling there's bananas involved. And not just bananas, Nanatopia. Woohoo! It exists. Yes, it exists still. This will be $210 for well, I almost said $250. It's like, what a deal. That's a steal. No, $210 for 50 milliliters. And this is Nanatopia's burst out of bottle with brazen, slightly underripe peel and hint of wacky taffy. Wacky taffy? Wacky taffy? Is that in Korea? Wacky taffy, even I don't think I've ever had of it, or ever had of it. I don't think I've ever had it. And I think it's an American candy. But I've heard of it. Whoa, that's really weird. So why, they have it in Korea? I haven't even had it here, but there you go. Threw us out of it. But takes a dislike-defying turn, cozy spiced banana bread, laced with rum and drizzled with melted caramel. But takes a dislike-defying turn toward cozy spiced banana bread. This makes no sense. I'm going to say that. Like, why does it take a turn? I like banana bread, and most people I know do too. Okay, maybe I just haven't had my coffee and I'm a little grumpy. So, from Born to Stand Out, it's okay to go bananas at times. Don't take life too seriously. Let me tell you, I take public transit. People go bananas all the time over the dumbest stuff too. I'm like, really? It's not that big of a deal, but city living. So the notes are nutmeg, cinnamon, rum, pure jungle essence. Rum pure jungle essence. Okay, thank you. Banana bread, melted caramel, tonka, and cypriol ambergris. So interesting. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here, and I am excited. I like bananas. I like banana bread. Okay, that's different. That is a little bit different. I smell something strange in there, but that's okay. We're gonna do this. So, 2 here, as we do. Yep. And then 1, I'm going to get it on here too, and then 2 here. Okay. Ooh, okay, so I do get a banana scent, but I'm going to be honest with you, it's very synthetic. It's a very synthetic banana smell to it that I'm not necessarily craving. I love bananas. I think most people do. I think in America it's the most eaten fruit. You know, it's unassuming, safe, compact. You can take it to go. You know, it's delicious. But we also like peanut butter, so throw bananas on it. You got yourself a lunch. There, no, it intrigues people. The whole peanut butter obsession, but there you go. I'm getting the rum, but there's this strange note in there that is not my favorite, and it's very synthetic. So there's these candies that are out there, and when I was really little, I think they're still here. They're called Runts, and they have a banana one, a banana shape. And those were my favorite. But they tasted exactly like the smells. Yeah. And I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you. They were tasty. But it's strange because I'm getting this like very synthetic banana scent. And to be fair, I think banana is very difficult to put into a fragrance because it's just going to be very synthetic smelling. It's kind of like raspberry a lot of the times. If you have it in food, it just tends to have that raspberry taste, that pseudo raspberry taste, which I actually like, but it isn't raspberry. It's raspberry, if that makes sense. Oh, I sound like Carol Channing there for a second. Raspberries. Yeah, if you know, you know. So, musical theater. So, this one has a lot of that pseudo banana with rum coming through. Finally getting that rum. I don't mind the rum. Actually, I'm thankful for the rum because it's taking that fake banana down a bit. But let's try it on the wrist. There's something in it that's just not right. And I don't know. Oh, it's nutmeg. Now, I love nutmeg and cinnamon. Give it to me. I make this beautiful pumpkin bread with all the yummies in it. Like with that, it's so good. But this has too much nutmeg in it to where it's giving it. I love nutmeg, but it's great, like boop. And I feel like instead of doing a boop, like let's say you're baking and instead of tapping it, you hit it and it just dumps in. That's what this is. It's overtaking it. It's overtaking the scent and dulling it. Yeah, it's just dulling it. So you have this happiness and brightness of the rum and the bananas, and then the nutmeg is just, here's the party going on, okay, with the bananas and the rum, and they're happy and they're behind the door, and then you have nutmeg knocking, going. That's what's going on. Nutmeg is not happy about this party and wants you to turn that music down now. Okay, that's what's happening. Is you have the happy and joy and the nutmeg and banana, and the nutmeg is kind of just. Get off my lawn. So, yeah, it's dulling it. I don't care for that nutmeg. It's just what's happening is this isn't very balanced. And it's almost watering it down. Yeah, I'm not caring for that. Well, let's try it on the clothing. Yeah, it's better on the clothing. It's better on the clothing. There's something besides the nutmeg dulling it, and I don't know what it is. I'm getting a little bit of the cinnamon, but caramel, all these things, rum, like none of this should be destroying this. Like something is making this not work. And part of it's the nutmeg, and part of it is something I don't know what it is. Let me try this again. I don't know. Maybe it's caramel? The problem is there's something that's very synthetic about this. Like so synthetic that it's taking me out of the scent. Because I think it's supposed to be like caramel or something, but it doesn't smell like caramel. It smells like, it smells artificial. Let's just put it that way. I was trying to be polite. I can't be too polite on this one. I don't know. It smells very synthetic. Okay, well, let's try it on here. Smells better on here. No, it's still synthetic. It's almost like a burnt synthetic something. I'm just not getting this one. It's pretty much all the same. It's just synthetic. This one just is not working for me. I know, and I'd like to be able to pull out more, but that's basically what I get, is that banana, that rum. The banana's starting to take a step back now. So rum mixed with a lot of nutmeg and then something synthetic that I think is the banana bread or the caramel. And it's not quite taking me where I want to go right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit with this one for an hour and hope that, these have fooled me before. Maybe something amazing will come from it, because it's happened before. There was one where I thought it was really gentle, and then it came back after an hour and was like, whoa. And I was like, well, it's still on my shirt. I'm washing it today. It's still on my favorite sweater that I wear all the time. It's falling apart. I love that thing. It's still on there. These fragrances do pack a punch, and it's still really strong. So if you put it on your clothing, these tend to really adhere to it, which I like, unless it's this. So there you go. But we don't know where this one's going. So I'm going to check back in an hour, and we'll discuss. Okay, so it has been an hour, about an hour and a half to be honest with you. I had to run a few errands, and I could still smell this one definitely. What I will say about Born to Stand Out is that they last. They really do last. Like I said, on the ones that I've used so far, I've sprayed on clothing, they're still in the fabric. And I'm not going to be mad about that, because a lot of fragrances just disappear quickly. These really, if you put them on your clothing, like get into the clothing and stick. So just know that. You may just want to wear them on your skin. They still last a long time, but on fabric, they're like they're attached. They're like a leech. They're on there, which is great. A lot of people really like that, especially for the price point. So I could definitely still smell this. I'm learning about this brand. It does not surprise me that it is still going strong. Now, what I will say is that I can definitely still smell it, but I'm just not getting what I want from it. So it's Nanatopia. Nana. Could be your grandma, Topia, but they mean banana. So there you go. And the banana is totally worn off. It was on for a couple minutes, and I'm not getting that much anymore. Mostly what I'm getting is rum. It smells like I dumped rum on myself, and which maybe I'll wash this today because I don't want to be smelling like rum. That's not my go-to scent for myself. With spices, specifically nutmeg and cinnamon, and there's a smokiness to it. So now I did not know this note as well, so I looked it up. Cypriol, I think it is Cypriol. I know a lot of notes, but some of them I don't, because I don't use those fragrances with them. So I'm just going to be honest. I'm kind of learning along the way sometimes as well too. And it's kind of a woodsy, smoky scent. And I'm definitely getting that smokiness, and so it makes sense. But let's try it on the wrist. Yeah, on the wrist, it's definitely rum and like nutmeg, kind of dulling it. And it's not, I love nutmeg, but the problem is it just really grounds a fragrance. And if you have too much, I'm just finding it grounds it too much. It's kind of like eating, this is weird, eating a spoonful of just powder. It chokes you out. It's just too much. That's kind of what I'm getting with this. But let's try it on the shirt. Yeah, it's like, I'm getting rum and then something that's kind of like banana bread, kind of, but it's very synthetic with a strong cinnamon nutmeg. And it's just, it's almost watered down. So it's almost like you took a rum banana bread and you dunked it in water and it just doesn't taste as good. And then you dumped spices on it. I don't know. It's just not, if this one's your favorite, I don't want to rip on it. Maybe it does so well on your chemistry, but for me, it's just not working the way that I want it to be. But let's try it on here. It's very synthetic smelling to me. I think the problem here is bananas with banana bread and caramel. I mean, I'm not really getting the caramel. I think part of that, those are just really hard to formulate, if that makes sense. And so if you don't really get it right, it doesn't really work. Yeah, it's just this, I'm not getting I'm not picking up what this is putting down. I'm just not. It just seems like nutmeg on there, nutmeg, cinnamon with a hint of rum and some kind of like banana bread, I guess. It just seems really synthetic to me. This one's just not really landing. It lasts a long time so far. It's very strong. So there you go. But what I'm going to do, I know I hate to be a downer on this one, but I'm going to be honest. And part of it is a lot of these are about preference. That's why I say always use a sample, because what doesn't work on me may work on you. I'm just one person with my own chemistry doing my thing, so just know that. Also, we have different preferences, so that plays a big part of it. That's why I do this clothing and my chemistry on my skin to kind of give you an idea of where it could morph. But then again, that's just, I'm one person. So there you go. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to check back in 4 hours. So we'll use this one for 5, and maybe it'll do something completely unexpected and will add happiness to my face. So there you go. So I will see you soon. Okay, it has been 5 hours. We made it with this one. Now I will say I could definitely still smell this one, but it isn't necessarily as strong as other Born to Stand Out fragrances. I feel like it's still there, but it's not quite as strong. But to be fair, it was never really overly strong. And I'm okay with that, actually. But I definitely still get whiffs of it when I move around. And it was basically 2 sprays here, 2 sprays here. So, I mean, I think that's fair enough. But let's try it here in the wrist. Yeah, this one is very, very light on the wrist, exceptionally. It's just not, it's almost a skin scent. So this one does not last as long as some of the other ones. But, so what I'm getting is a hint of rum and some spices like cinnamon and a little bit of banana. So, but very light. It's so hard to smell. Yeah, it's really hard to smell, but it's sweet, a little bit spicy, got that rum and a little hint of banana. Let's try it on the shirt. Interesting. So definitely sweeter. You get that rum and the banana came back. So the banana was there briefly, went whoop, disappeared, now it came back. Very strange. But I will say the nutmeg took a break because that nutmeg was throwing me off. So it's now like taking a stand back and it makes it a little bit more palatable. So let's smell this. Rum. It's basically rum. Rum with a hint of banana and like some kind of sweet goodness. Like a caramel or something like that. So there's definitely a sweetness, which I'll say is the caramel. It finally got there. A little bit of like tonka I can smell in it. Adding to that, it's you know, it's pretty much at this stage like this everywhere, except that it's a little bit spicier on my chemistry. So yeah, we got through this one. I'm gonna be honest with you, even at this stage, it smells decent. It's just not, I don't know. I feel like this one just misses the mark in a lot of ways just because, again, it still has that synthetic quality. And I'm wondering if part of it is because if you're trying to imitate, like I said earlier, banana, you know, maybe there's some issues with that. That's really hard to duplicate in a way that isn't so... I think that and watermelon tend to be very difficult. They can be extremely synthetic because they're very difficult to dupe in a realistic way. It's just very difficult, you know? So I applaud any brand who's willing to take on that challenge, but there's a difficulty to it sometimes. And I don't know. For me, because it smells of that rum and synthetic kind of banana with caramel sweetness, this is definitely a gourmand. I don't know, it just doesn't really work for me because the main thing that just keeps coming up is synthetic. There's so many things, I don't know. You got to be careful. Like banana, I just think that's the problem. I think that's the problem with this. It's just hard to not be synthetic. So at least the nutmeg took a break because that was just too much. It was just too much. But in the end, this one doesn't have a lot of longevity and it just didn't check the boxes for me. If I were going to classify this, I think bananas and rum are for everyone. So usually when people hear gourmand, they think feminine more, but you wear what you want when you want. Gourmands are for everyone, much like ice cream. Let's do it. Yeah. So I would say for everyone, wear what you want, but if we're going to break it down, yes, this might be considered a little bit more feminine, but I think the spices bring it a little bit to that middle ground, but, you know, that's just one person's opinion. And then as far as the season, there's a sweetness to this. I think gourmands are difficult sometimes during hotter months because it could really bring out those sweet notes in heat, especially humidity. So I do like gourmands in summer, but they have to be lighter. I think this one would do well in fall and winter and late spring, you know, or if you live in an area where your summers don't get that hot, then, you know, this would be really lovely too. Where I am, it'll choke you out sometimes. It's just like, why? So yeah, this isn't one that I would pick to wear during the summer, and probably this isn't one that I would pick up necessarily again, just in general, because it didn't really work for me. But that, just remember, I am one person, and what works for me may not work for you, and vice versa. So this one just did not work the way I wanted it to. So if I were going to give this one a score, this is hard. I would probably give it a 3 out of 10, and here's why. I feel like it tried. It really tried, and I'm going to respect anyone who gives a try. But the synthetic nature of it, with the overpowering of the nutmeg in the beginning, was just too much for me. It just didn't feel like it was balanced. And now that it's more balanced, it's just barely there. And it just, again, that synthetic note just hangs in the air a bit. So, yeah, I'm going to have to like just give it a 3. And I'm okay with that. Just know, what I love may not be the same thing that you love. This may work completely differently on your chemistry and be gorgeous. So as I always say, get a sample. Please get a sample. But it's just not for me. Yeah. So with that, have a wonderful day, my friend. Unless you are here for the next recommendation of a K-drama. And you know what? This one actually is bananas too. It's crazy, and I really enjoy it. This one's another Jisung drama. I really love this one. Now, okay, it's a little bit over the top. Let's just say that now. And I love it for it. In fact, it's so over the top in some ways with the way that Jisung basically carries the main character. So we'll just put it out there. It is Devil Judge. I've seen this one 2 or 3 times. I do come back to this one. First off, you can tell they put a lot of money into the production of this one. A lot of money. And basically, it's dystopian South Korea. And in the future, they don't really say when, I don't think. And basically, there's a lot of shenanigans going on in the streets of Korea, where basically there's not a lot of justice, especially for people in the higher ranking social stratosphere, who basically own a lot of the money and the power. And basically the ones who are made to suffer, of course, are the ones in the lower bracket, or who don't have power or much of a voice. And the people of the higher statuses, basically, they get away with murder, literally. So they just kind of do what they want, and there's no repercussions. And so basically they're trying to fix the justice system and just the system in general in Korea. And this takes place in Seoul. So basically, Jisung is called the Devil Judge because he basically wants people to be involved with justice. So cases will come forward where the audience basically can use their handphones or phones and vote to see if somebody is guilty or not guilty. It's basically reality TV, but in a judicial way. I mean, I don't think you can really get away with that. But hey, here we are. It's sure made for great TV. And basically these people say, yeah, let's punish them. Well, how should we do it? And they do it. So it's pretty gnarly in parts. I will say, if certain things bug you, I mean, it is a drama, but there's a lot of comedy to it. But it's not a comedy. It's a drama with lighthearted moments, which tends to be the way that works in Korea a lot of the time with their K-dramas. Even if they are dramas, there's sometimes a lightheartedness to it to break up the tension. But this one does have violence in it. That would be the main thing, is there is some violence. So if you don't like that, you may want to skip this one. I'm not really big into law K-dramas. They're really not my thing. I don't care for court stuff. I never have. I never have. And that being said, I enjoyed this one because it's more than just that. There's a whole backstory of why the judge is the way he is. You will see some phenomenal acting for Jisung in this, which I love him. And he just does such a great job with this. And the role is over the top as the judge. It's almost like he's the Joker in some scenes where he, especially in the car scene where he's driving it around and going crazy and he's having a good time, basically bringing people down who deserve the justice. People deserve justice, and he's bringing the people down who are creating these injustices, and he's having a great time doing it. There are some very unlikable characters in the cast that are going to be frustrating. I will say the second male lead, just know that he isn't necessarily the strongest actor at this point. I've heard he's improved. I've seen him in other things and he has improved. But this one, when you're going off Ji-sung and other strong actors, you really have to be able to live up to that level, and he doesn't quite do it. You can see that he's still very green at this point in his acting career. So it could be a little bit distracting at times because he doesn't quite know how to bring the complexity of his character fully alive at that point. But boy, is this one a ride. It is over the top. You will be frustrated at times. You will laugh at certain times. You will be like, ugh, at other times. And you're not really sure if the judge is good, bad, or a bit of both. You don't really know. You don't know where he stands until later on. You kind of figure it out, but at first it's kind of ambiguous. And so that's kind of fun, especially seeing the backstory and stuff of everything, and you see how it all comes together. But it is a wild ride. I do enjoy this one. I know it's over the top. I know it's crazy, and it just makes me love it even more. And it's just over the topness. I love it. I love it, and Ji-sung does just such an amazing job with it. So there you go. Yes, that is another pick of mine. Really enjoyed it. I just watched it, I think, 6 months ago again, and was like, yeah, so good. So yeah, that was just as bananas as Nanatopia. So yes, with that, have a fabulous day, my friends. Bye.